Okay, so in the last video, we finished our college API with two functionalities of notice and student. So you have now, a, I can say, a very good level of hands-on on Django REST API. So now what we will continue is, for a small change, we will go off Django towards the deployment phase on an actual server like Pythonanywhere.com. So there are two requirements for that. One is you should have a GitHub account and a project, the Django project, uploaded or committed on a new repository. The reason is that using GitHub, under this code section, you can see HTTPS under the clone part. We'll have to use this link, HTTPS link, in order to get or push our project from GitHub to the Python Anywhere cloud. So when you will have to log in and sign up or register for pythonanywhere.com, and when you sign up or log in, you'll get this dashboard. Now you can see on this dashboard there are no web apps, no consoles, no files, anything. So the first step will be to open a bash. I'll open a bash in a new tab. Whenever you are working on pythonanywhere.com, I suggest you to open everything in a new tab, because we'll need to refer it from each and everywhere. So now, when it will take some time to start, and this will be a Linux environment. So Windows command prompt users will have to tweak their command skills here and change themselves a bit. So we'll wait for this to begin. Okay, yes, so our bash console has started. I'll zoom in a bit. So the first step will be, whenever you are working in the professional environment with Django, it's highly recommended, but not compulsory, but it's highly recommended that you make a virtual environment. But before that, I would like to check our directory first. Okay, so it's /home/username, and I would like to make a virtual environment first. So what I will do is mk virtual env space hyphen python equal to the directory where you want to, or the path where you want your Python 3.5, Python 3.5, and the name of the virtual environment. You can keep any name. For now, I will select my env. So this will take a few seconds to install whatever it wants, like pip, wheel, setup tools. So we'll wait for a few seconds. Now I had uploaded my or committed my API around 6 months ago on September 12th. So there might be a few changes, but it doesn't matter now. The only thing is that the steps to deploy on pythonanywhere.com will be same. So don't worry. We'll just wait for this to install. Okay, it's done. Now that we are in the virtual environment, you can see that the name of our virtual environment is shown here in the bracket before our command line. So now we'll install Django REST framework and Django REST framework JWT. So I'll say pip install Django is installing. By the time it's getting installed, I'll right click here and open my dashboard in a new tab, and you can see, I'll zoom out a bit, that there are no web apps for now. So we'll go here, we'll add a new web app. Here you can see that if you want custom domain names or something, you'll have to upgrade your account and you need to pay some dollars for that. I will use the free version only. So I'll click next. Here you can see that there are certain options with Django, Web2Py, etc., etc. You can select the Django option, but as we are working with virtual environments and it's prompting here that use manual configuration for virtual environments, we'll click on manual configuration and select the Python version that was 3.5. In our command line here, we selected Python 3.5. So we'll do that and select 3.5 and I'll click next. By the time this is working, we'll go back to our console and then now we'll install Django REST framework as well. Django REST framework. And also Django REST framework -JWT. All the same three things that we installed on the device when we started the course. So now when we check in ls, you can see that there is nothing. It's clear. We need to push. 1 second. I'll zoom in a bit. We need to push our GitHub code repository to the Pythonanywhere cloud. So for that, the command will be, first we'll check that working directory again, just to be safe. Okay, here, now we'll say git clone and we'll select the HTTPS or copy this HTTPS link here. We'll copy this URL and git clone and we'll just paste it here. You can see all the repository files have been added here. In order to check, press ls. Now you can see that college REST API Django has been successfully put here on the Pythonanywhere cloud. So now keep this open as it is. We'll go to our web app section. You can see there are so many things in our web app page. So our first step will be in the web section, we'll go to the virtual environment part. So I can see that there is this section known as virtual environment. And you need to add your virtual environment path here. It says enter a path to virtual environment. So Pythonanywhere is smart enough to automatically extract the path of your virtual environment, even if you just put your environment name. My environment name was my env, and I'll just check this, and you will see Pythonanywhere generated the path on its own. Now, the second part, after you play with the virtual environment, is in this code section, you can see this WSGI configuration file. You need to make some changes here. The reason is that I'll go back again and show you. You will see that for now, Pythonanywhere has started this default web app of Hello World on its own. But we don't want this. We want our project, our college API to work there. Okay. So we'll go to the WSGI section and we'll clean everything that is not related to Django. So this Hello World part, then the virtual environment part, custom WSGI, till Django will clear. And below Django, after Django, there's Flask, and we'll clear Flask as well. We don't need it. We just need this much section. Now we will uncomment whatever Python code has been mentioned here. So I'll uncomment this, the imports, then I'll uncomment the path. I'll uncomment the if section as well. I will need this environment operating system command as well, and also these two commands, WSGI commands. Okay, but your work here is still not over. This was the path that was initialized by Pythonanywhere for its Hello World code, its Hello World web app. So now you have to paste the path of your project where your manage.py file is present. So how to get that path? So now when you are in the bash console, you can simply go inside your project repository, and now you can check using ls if you are in the python manage.py directory. Yes, my manage.py is present here. So in order to get the path, I'll simply write pwd and it will give me the path, and I'll copy this path to the path of my wsgi file. So I'll copy this, go to my wsgi section and replace it with the path that I've copied. I changed my path. Now you have to keep these two if statements same as it is, but you can see my site dot settings. Again, my site was Python Anywhere's hello code my site settings. So here you need to mention your project settings. What was your project name? Your project directly contains the settings.py, right? And our project name was my first API, right? And after this, you just need to mention two more lines. You can import django.core.handlers.wsgi and also application equal to the these first two lines are for the new version of Django. But suppose if the interpreter is using the older version of Django, you need to mention the down syntax. So application equal to, we can say, get underscore WSGI, or else we can do something like this. We'll say application equal to Django dot core dot handlers dot WSGI dot cap. Now see, WSGI and H of WSGI handler is capital. Take care here. I think this will be enough for now. I'll just save my WSGI file and I'll go back to the, I'll just, yes, I'll go back to the web section now. Now in the web section, if you reload the code and then go on this hosted link, we go to the hosted link, you will see that it still says disallowed host. That means there's something else we still need to do. So don't panic when you see such an error. What you need to do is just copy this host name, copy this, and you'll have to put it inside your settings.py allowed host list. Now you will say, how can we access or edit files after we have uploaded to the Python Anywhere cloud? So it's easy. Python Anywhere is very, very smart. So you can go to the file section of pythonanywhere.com. Here you can see the college REST API directory that we had uploaded. Now here settings.py will be in our project directory and our project name was my first API. Now inside this you will see settings.py. When you click on settings.py, it gives you an editor of its own where you can do the edits, and inside allowed host, I'll mention the domain name that was given to us. After mentioning this, I'll just click save. And now we'll go and try to run a web app. So I'll go to the web section. And click on the domain name that has been given to us. Okay, so it again says, okay, so we'll copy this part and try. Okay, we'll copy this and check whether it works or not. I'll go back, files again, project repository, the project directory, settings.py, and instead of this, I will mention it like this as it prompted me. And now again, we'll go and try and run it. I'll reload. And as soon as the reload finishes, I'll check. See, it's done. Your Pythonanywhere.com has successfully hosted your API. You can see notice, student, the hyperlinks there down here. Now, you will also think that if this gets hosted, we can again handle the admin section as well, right? So here, we'll try to access the admin section. Yes, it gives you the Django admin section as well. And now when you try to access my password and username both or admin, you'll find everything that was there. There are two objects created, the groups, users, notice in the authorization and authentication section. Then in our college application, we created that both the functionalities, everything. So now you will be thinking that this Django admin section and our API looks a bit off, right? So usually in the professional cases, the UI isn't always kept the same. The Django administration UI is always kept the same, yes, but not the API section. So every person can will have their own ideas, their own designs, their own colors in their mind to keep their API. So I won't touch that. I will just tell you how to get the admin section same as the one that we were getting on our local host, that is on our device. So for that, you just need to do one thing, because admin section is more important than your API. If someone has the access of an admin section of anything, that person can do anything in the inside that. It can play with that person can play with your data and do any sort of stuff that he wants to. Okay. So now when we go down to the static file section, you can see CSS, JavaScript, and everything you have to put here. So inside this, the URL section, what you need to mention is /static/admin, because you want your admin styling here, and press check here. And inside the directory, this is something long, but yes, it will just take a minute for us. Just copy it as the way I'm mentioning here. I'll zoom it for you. So it says /home, then slash your username on Python Anywhere. My username here is Abhichandani Harsh, and slash dot virtual environments path. So virtual envs slash the name of the virtual environment you have created. My virtual environment was my env, then slash lib slash the Python version, Python 3.5 slash site hyphen packages slash the framework you are using, that's Django, slash contrib slash admin slash static, and again slash admin. After you do this, and reload your code, and go to the link that's given to us, I won't change this as I've mentioned you. You can access the serializers and the sections from here, but we changed the admin interfaces, right? So we'll go to admin for now and check whether we have the same. You can see we have the same UI as we had before. We have the college section, students, then we have notices, and we can do all sort of filtering and stuff that was given to us. So we have successfully deployed our project on pythonanywhere.com. The last thing that I would like to mention to you is that it's whenever you have working on your own and keeping the project to yourself, it's okay that you show what errors are coming in your project just for yourself or and for the committee that's working with you. But whenever you are deploying it professionally for everyone globally, like each and every person can use it. So at that time, it's highly recommended that you don't show your errors because it can leak your code and anyone else can tamper with it. So we just need to change the debugging settings of Django. So whenever I say settings, obviously we'll have to go to the settings.py. So I'll go to files, the repository section, the project directory, and inside this settings.py, we'll just change the debug of true as false. When you change it as false, you remember that there were a disallowed host part, right? Disallowed host error that was seen to us, and we debugged it from there itself. We don't want others to know that yes, there is some fault in our code and everything in our web app. So we don't want them to know. So we'll just put this as false and just save it. And we'll just check whether our web app is still running or not. And you can see that our API is still working. So that's all. This was deploying it on pythonanywhere.com. It's free for 3 months. Like my site will be there. You can see till Wednesday, 26th of May, 2021. So this was deploying our project, Django project on pythonanywhere.com. And you must be seeing that there is no server or anything running. We are down. There is no server running. And it's actually deployed on this URL. So thanks a lot for your patience. I know it's a bit tiring, but trust me, when you will see how easily an ML model will get deployed in the following videos to come, you'll be a fan of Django and you'll try to use Django in each and everything that you do. And it's super duper fast. Like it barely took me 15 minutes to deploy it actually on a server and 5 to 10 minutes to add a new functionality to it. So yes, this is my first and best option whenever it comes to web development and deployment. So I'll highly recommend that you stick to Django. Yes, Flask is also a good option, but my personal choice will always be Django. So thanks a lot for your patience and hope to see you soon. And please like our videos and subscribe to our channel and recommend our channel to your friends as well. See ya.